my clips. Watch my clips. Watch my clips.
But he's a f***ing imbecile. You absolute buffoon. What you have there is not clips. These are mags. They're mags, not clips. The same way that this is also a mag.
Let's just talk globally. Like, do you think it is okay for, and I'm not talking about just you specifically anymore, anyone, do you think it's okay for anyone in their 20s, an adult, to marry a 15 or 16-year-old?
A 21-year-old, if there was a marriage where the father consented and the daughter consented, and it was both good on both families and they wanted to do it, why am I going to get involved? Why should we get the government involved? Do you believe that somebody can go through hormone therapy? Can they change their gender if they're a child?
I think that's totally fine as long as everyone is consenting, as you agree with.
Okay, so as long as everyone...
If your parents are okay with it and you are okay with it, I think that's totally a familial decision to make, yeah.
Okay. So, a child can cut their penis off and take hormone blockers and change their biology forever, but they can't get married?
Oh, that's a decision that now extends beyond the family, because now you're bringing in a different party. So if you have someone that's your age coming in saying, I want to marry that child, I don't think that can happen under any circumstance.
So, no. But it's still a personal decision. You're still deciding. Because there's take the other party out of the equation. It's a personal decision. If I'm 16 and I personally want to marry this girl, she's beautiful. She's 21 years old. Her family wants to do it. My family wants to do it. You're saying I can't do that. We're both consenting. I'm ready to go. I'm physically mature, but I'm not allowed to marry because Moy says that woman's a pedophile. But if then the next day I leave it, I'm depressed, I want to cut my penis off, I can go right into the clinic, snip it off, and start taking HRT like Chris Tyson. That's a society that makes sense to you?
It is. I believe everyone has I believe everyone has the right to do with their body what they want to.
Let me get this straight. You two go from playing FBI's top 10 most wanted internet gangsters who combined are probably about as tough as the head of a newborn baby. Then you fast forward to a year later where you're having a conversation that can only be described as degenerate and should only be had between two people in padded coats. Because quite frankly, it's just a conversation that just doesn't need to be had out there on the internet. Why are we talking about kids transitioning and having sex with children? Like, this doesn't make any sense why anybody would have this conversation. Because no sane person is going to be walking around having this kind of conversation daily. And that is the problem that you have here with this guy, this black, Indian, Asian dude, or whitish something. I don't know. I don't know who what Sneako is, but quite frankly, he's a person with a lost identity. He's a person with a lost cause. He's a person who doesn't even believe that black people can actually work hard and earn anything. Seriously, that is in his past now, and actually recent past. He actually is on quote saying that blacks are lazy and the only thing blacks are known for is hip hop, killing, and playing sports. That is it. Black people are irrelevant in everything in life, according to this man here. And I don't even want to call him really a man. He's more or less just a boy. That's what Sneako is. And he's just irrelevant. And his life is really sad at this point. And he's been banned on all these other platforms. Banned like Fresh and Fit, Pearl, Tommy Sodomizer, all these other losers that keep getting themselves kicked up off all these platforms because they simply don't know how to keep their mouths shut. Oh, I'm just having an open conversation. Why can't we have these conversations, huh? Why can't I talk about the Jews? How come I can't talk about the age of consent? Why can't I talk about anything else that's inappropriate? That's their whole lives. All these people, and they all hate black people, it seems. Pearl exploits black people. I mean, to say, I don't know, I have weird takes on Pearl. She's just boring for the most part, and the fact that her content is just really lame. And other than that, I don't know if Pearl really is what she tries to be on the internet. More or less, I think she's a troll that has lost her way. She's just stuck down the yellow brick road and doesn't know where she's really trying to go. She doesn't know if she wants to go to the gingerbread house or jumped off of Humpty Dumpty's wall or actually make it back to Kansas. She has no idea, no clue. But that is why I say Moy's critical, the guy that I'm showing you here, the Americanized version of Jesus Christ here. He took the massive L because he actually still has a platform to fight for. And you only can lose and only put yourself in a situation to take the L to people like Sneako, who is really just the equivalent of a putty or a Cyberman. He is a nothing. Like I said, these people who've been banned off of every platform, they're nobodies now. They are irrelevant. They are just as irrelevant as the side characters that get cast away in every episode of Power Rangers. or any other superhero sitcom or anything like that, where you just have the same enemies that get spawned out there that get killed over and over and over again. That's how relevant they are. They're nothing. So the only way they can prove and find themselves to be relevant is just to find a way to sneak onto your platform, bait you into a situation where you no longer are in your comfort zone. Charlie Moist Critical does not debate people. That is not what he does. He doesn't debate people on his platform. He just goes out there and he talks his opinions on things that he watched or played recently. That's it. So to sit here and have this ridiculous conversation with Sneako, Sneako's in his comfort zone. Moist Critical is taking the L already. You cannot win in these situations because they have nothing to fight for. Only you can lose in this situation. And quite frankly, I don't know, and I know I keep saying quite frankly, Jesus Christ, but I don't understand why these individuals keep risking their platforms doing this. That's the only thing you're doing, is putting your platform and all that money you fought for at risk. So like, why would Mr. Beast, even though before all this current controversy that he's got going on, and boy, he is talking about L's to be taken, he's taking it. Well, either way, it's like him saying, you know what, let me go ahead and bring on Sneako, Myron Gaines, all these people onto this platform, that way I can get some more looks. Don't need it. Though he was already doing that in his videos already, it just wasn't necessarily those characters. Yeah, I don't know. This situation is sad because I just don't understand why these people have these conversations still. Like, I really want to know why Sneako is so infatuated with the conversation of age of consent. A man who honestly seems to believe that a woman who just got through puberty is ready to be married. So if a girl had puberty at 11 years old, oh, she's ready to be a woman, ready to get porked down, all sorts of disturbing stuff. I mean, I just don't understand the conversation unless he wants to be that grandpa who's with that kid that looks like his granddaughter, and instead that's not his granddaughter, that is his wife. Absurdities. I mean, just pure shenanigans. Just the conversation and just the notion alone should get you handcuffed and locked away in prison for at least 5 years. Pedophilia, for whatever reason, is just something that's not looked at as serious as it should be. And it comes to find out, it seems the reason why is that all these major platforms, anywhere there seems to be a ton of money, a ridiculous, endless amount of money, there seems to be something that deals with child grooming. Yeah. Kids always getting swept up somewhere. And it always seems to be in controversy with these people with these major platforms. Every time one of them goes down, it has something to do with kids. And I mean, boy, especially, I mean, not to make it racial, but all the white platforms, it seems, there's always something to do with kids. Now, eventually with most of the black platforms, there always eventually gets to being a point where there's kids. But on the surface with the white people, it seems children every freaking time. Crazy. Blacks will have all the same controversies. It just seems like kids is somewhere like fourth when it comes to our majorly terrible controversies out there, whether it's with pastors or priests, ministers who've been robbing a congregation for years, stuff like that. I mean, those usually end really bad, where they were sleeping with everybody in the church, you know, fondling all sorts of children. It's just a disaster. But Sneako is arguing for the fact that that priest or pastor or minister or whatever should have the right to marry that child. That's why he doesn't have a platform anywhere, because he keeps trying to have these conversations. And it's not nuanced. That's what I don't understand. These people, they think they're breaking through. They're getting through the matrix. They're over here talking to the people out there and saying, we're having real conversations. Is that a real conversation? It just seems real icky to me. Doesn't seem like it's a real conversation to be having amongst adults. Sounds like a conversation that you should be having at the park bench with another Geppetto. Another man with a white van. Anybody who believes in free candy for the kids. That is what you should have this conversation with. Those people. But for whatever reason, Moist decided he was going to get himself involved in this. And he's been called out on numerous things lately. And basically he's been exposed for, well, being a keyboard warrior. Because when you are on these videos, right, I can sit here and talk all the trash I want. I can sit here and say whatever I want about Fresh and Fit, Myron Fresh, Rollo Tomasi, Andrew Tate, all these other losers that exist out here in the manosphere, or whatever part of the internet. I can talk shit all I want on here. But say we gather up at some type of Nickelodeon event or some type of, you know, X Games or some crap that takes place, sort of like the Mr. Beast games. If we landed up on something like that and we were actually around each other and I had no smoke for those individuals, I am all of a sudden a castrated individual out here on the internet because I'm ballless. I have nothing. I have no integrity. So I don't know. I mean, that's basically what Moise has been called out on, because he's a guy who has been highly critical of Prime. Which, yes, Prime is, it depends on what flavor you get. It's not all great, but most of them pretty good. But either way, he hated on Prime, and thus he had a moment to be right there by Logan Paul. And instead of, standing on business, people are upset at the fact that, well, he got on his knees and started gargling. Then he takes this L to Sneako here, which, boy, just a random thought or here on Sneako. Sneako reminds me of Captain Ginyu from Dragon Ball Z, where he's a guy, for whatever reason, like, you just can't get rid of this character. This person was supposed to have died off forever ago. You can't get rid of this character because for whatever reason, they just keep finding a way to sneak back into battle. They just keep changing bodies, and he is going to change his body all the way back until he is relevant again. That is Sneako's goal. He's eventually going to trick enough people into these debates, into these ridiculous situations, to where somehow people are going to be like, yes, we are clamoring for some more Sneako. Get us some more of that Geppetto content. Please, that's what we're begging for. Anything to land us in prison or on anybody's watch list. Yeah, not just neighborhood watch. I'm talking about the watch list. But yeah, back to Moist Critical. Either way, I know people are upset when you don't stand on business. And he has come out and tried to address the allegations, but the recent drama that's taking place on his channel. And it is sucking the life out of him. Sucking the life out of him so much that rumors came out saying that this man has officially left the internet.
After it was announced earlier today that Charlie is apparently going to be stepping away from his podcast, show update, goodbye Charlie.
John announcing, hey everyone, effective immediately, Charlie has made the decision to leave both the official podcast
and Red Thread. He wants to go on an indefinite hiatus to scale back his time spent on the internet.
We obviously wish him the best, for everyone to respect his decision and for all to know
the show will always be open for him to drop by and talk shop should he wish to return.
Now, he addressed these allegations by simply saying he's not leaving the internet. And honestly, if you look at the note, it doesn't say he's leaving the internet. It just says that he's literally leaving his podcast and whatnot, which is understandable. And he explains that in this video saying, hey, I am just simply overloaded. And he's realized that he's starting to turn into the thing that he hates the most, a person that is chronically online. And quite frankly, people who are chronically online are the worst and most miserable people, which has led him down this path of kind of running away from some of the stuff that's taken place in his life recently, because it does seem like he's starting to get some smoke, and he's starting to reek of somebody who has never really been challenged a whole lot in life or has faced a whole lot of adversity. He is a person who is a normal guy. He said that a million different times, and he is coming off as very normal now. Like, if you look at the conversations, you look at the debate he just had with Sneako, he comes off as somebody who simply is a guy who usually sits around his house, plays video games, has his own opinions, but doesn't talk deeply about them. He doesn't go on to these long tangents, doesn't have extremely strong stances out there. But I think he's starting to realize now that he came out and said openly that he is supportive of the alphabet community, the LGBTQ plus AAIASS, whatever. He is supportive of all of them, which I am too. I'm supportive of them. So it's one of those things. All of a sudden he is finding out that most of his fans are pure bigots. And I hate to be the guy to say that, but he's finding out that a lot of those people do not agree with any of those letters. They definitely don't agree with transitioning, which is another thing that he really got busted on, because he came out and said that kids should be allowed to transition.
No winning on anything. Sneako gets away with saying 12 to 15-year-olds can marry adults. I don't think his chat looks anything like the YouTube chat here. He literally, multiple times, reaffirms that he believes 12 to 15-year-olds can legally, morally, and should marry adults. And there is no problems for him. But I said that I think it's okay for a child to transition, to learn about it. It's a process. You don't just go in and immediately get your cut off. That's not how it works.
It comes off as a corporate type of wash away of a situation. Like, you said what you said, and it seemed pretty obvious in the moment that you should be aware enough of what you said to correct it if you didn't mean it that way. And I understand you're trying to say that you thought this conversation was supposed to be on a more adult level, but look who you're talking to. You're talking to Sneako. You're talking to the 23-year-old, 8-year-old. The man who secretly cannot find himself outside of a playground. That's where he still lives. But yet you thought you were having some type of adult situation or adult conversation with this man. This man was baiting you from the start. That's the only reason he was on your platform to talk to you. Y'all don't like each other. Do you not remember that? Just like with Logan Paul, you're not supposed to like Logan Paul, but once again, somebody got in your face, and then all of a sudden you try to be buddy-buddy with this person, and then you found yourself trapped. Next thing you know, your head was down there trying to eat the cheese, and somebody let go of the lever, and there went your neck. Now you're over there hanging by rope on your platform, just hanging on, you know, just wanting to take a nice hiatus, because why not? If you take a hiatus, at least that way you can go ahead and, you know, calm down, you know, cooler heads prevail, and you'll feel a lot better about the situation. But I hope it's a lesson that people will learn, that you've got to stop making these people relevant. Because once they start getting kicked off of all these platforms, why are you bringing them onto you? They are only doing that because they are dying. They are dying. They're just like a vampire who's just like trying to run away from the sun. They can't get to the shadows fast enough. They're crawling. They're crawling at you, and they're just starting to evaporate and just melt away like a slug that's falling through salt rain. It is a disaster. It's just somebody who's clinging to life. Do not give it to them. Stop it. People like Pearl, Fresh and Fit, Tommy Sodomizer, Rollo Tomasi, Empty Arties, all these people, stop giving them life. If they've gotten demonetized, it's usually for a reason. Sometimes unjustified, usually justified. So I presented myself with a hypothetical, and I present it to you. Please comment below on how you feel about this. So if you had to choose who you would think would win a fight between Sneako and Charlie now, who would it be? Originally, a lot of people were sitting there saying it's going to definitely be Charlie because Sneako's a punk and he has no muscle mass. Now, Charlie actually works out and is a little ripped up little guy, you know what I'm saying? And they're both not that big. But hot take here. I can't stand them, but I would probably take Sneako because I watched Charlie cower down a couple times now in person, and he hasn't handled, you know, the smoke very well. Sneako is, look, he'll talk about the smoke and he'll be about the smoke at least a little bit. I know one thing. He might not be able to fight, but he can definitely take a punch. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I've never seen anybody survive a falcon punch and also survive getting their face beat in by a professional fighter.
Jesus.
You still good.
That's a
I mean, he was getting pounded, and he took every single one of them shots. Every single one. He didn't tap. He took him right to the face. And I mean, his nose has been holding up strong through that too. So honestly, I'm going to take it as a battle of endurance. He's just going to keep on fighting. And if he has any Saiyan spirit in him, and I made a few DBZ references in this video, but either way, if he has that Saiyan spirit, he will come back stronger, and eventually he will win because you can't kill him. That falcon punch he took from that security guard, that was something. Either way, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Pretty sure I left out a whole lot in this video that I wanted to talk about. But either way, have a good day.